and it's very similar to what I do in the Treasury Department, which was I'd investigate an allegation, I'd go out and interview witnesses, gather evidence, gather documents, follow the paper trail, and then summarize all that evidence and present a report to my superiors, which would either recommend that the person be prosecuted or recommend that the investigation be discontinued because there was not enough evidence to sustain a prosecution. So I put that evidence together, and I submitted it to my immediate superior, and I asked that it be submitted right up the chain to Commissioner Rosati. I realized that what I was doing was going to rock the boat quite a bit, but I also knew that I had checked every one of these facts out and was over 100% certain of my findings. On February 8th of 1999 is actually the day that I submitted my report, and I asked that the commissioner or his designee commit in writing within 30 days to review my report. And I was only asking for a commitment. I didn't say I want all the answers in 30 days. Just commit to me. You'll look at it. I'm a federal law enforcement officer. I've sworn to support and defend the Constitution, and I really see some serious constitutional problems with the federal income tax. So that was February 8th. February 11th, it went to my boss's boss. And from February 11th to February 17th, it went all the way to 1111 Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C.
And that's Rossetti's office.
That's where Rosati, his office is, as well as the Assistant Commissioner for Criminal Investigation. And I was told that my report not only went to Constitution Avenue, but at a minimum, the Assistant Commissioner for Criminal Investigation was aware of my report and the basics for what I was
Believe
presenting.
me, your report went right to Alan Greenspan. Or a word of it, a briefing did.
Well, it turns out that on the, let's see.
Well, see, that's the one thing they guard at the upper levels is the great evil. And the one thing they cannot deal with, that they cannot stop is credible people from within their system coming out against them. And now you're doing magazine interviews and radio interviews, and you've got the evidence, you've got your website up. Listen, what would you say, before we finish the story, what would you say to the other IRS agents and the other law enforcement out there about this? I mean, you've taken a real risk here in what you've done.
I'm taking an incredible risk, but I believe that the risk of doing nothing is even worse. What federal law enforcement officers need to realize, as well as every state and local officer, is that the laws that the IRS agents are enforcing, they shouldn't be enforcing. And I don't believe that they should be cooperated with. If somebody is being prosecuted for failing to file a tax return, and they have done the research and found that there is no requirement to file a tax return, then I feel it's morally and legally wrong, for that person to be pursued, investigated, and prosecuted.
You're saying it's color of law is what's being used.
The whole thing's run out of ignorance. People just don't know. They really think, look at those kooks, those weirdos, those liars, until you investigate.
That's right, and I feel bad that I spent time thinking those things, but it was out of ignorance. And now that I've researched and found that a lot of those claims are actually true, my hope is that law enforcement people will start trusting the citizens more than they have, and the citizens, hopefully when they see more law enforcement officers being honorable about these issues, will start to trust law enforcement again, and we can get back to a country where there's a lot of trust between the government and the governed, because it's only with the consent of the governed that the government exists.
I'm trying to hope that you guys can tune out from the sports and the bedlam and the diversions for just 5 minutes and realize what we're trying to tell you here. What we're trying to wake you up. I mean, this is some scary stuff. I mean, I'll pay taxes. I've said this 100 times. But my gosh, let it go to me and my family. Let it go to the country. Let it go to defense of this nation. Let it be honest and based in a strong, good nation. But if it's going to private banks and they feed it back into the cycle of slavery and there's no way to get out of this debt pit. In fact, as an accountant, Mr. Bannister, explain the whole debt pit. I mean, explain how there's no way to dig yourself out of this fiat system.
I mean, you basically said it right there. It is a pit, and you never get out. You pay interest. You pay the sweat of your brow pays barely pays the interest on the debt. It never goes away. It's like indentured servitude.
It's like indentured servitude.
It's literally, as you work, you keep hoping for the day that that debt is paid off and you are free, but it'll never come with the system as it stands. I mean, I remember agents going to so-called tax protester meetings, as you know, to get intelligence and find out what's going on, and I remember them coming back and laughing at, you know, the kooky stuff that they were talking about, and you know, so that was just the general feeling that had been inculcated into people's minds, and it took me a couple of years to find out. But it in fact...
Now that's right. You talked about D.B. Kidd and other writers and her pamphlets and the executive orders they listed and the laws, the case law. What happened that first time whenever you went to the law library? Because you told that story on the radio, I thought it was interesting.
That I expected to find that it was all baloney, that they referred to court cases that didn't exist, or they took court cases out of context. And I found that every court case that she referred to, or any of the people that she had in her book list referred to, were correct, and they were right in the law library.